Welcome to Zaptest Tutorials. In this tutorial, we will show you how to use validations and customize request arguments in Zaptest API calls. During this lesson, you will learn about Zaptest API Studio, how to define parameters in a service request, and how to validate server response values. In the tutorial exercises, we will be using demo web services provided by Zaptest for educational purposes. The server's address is displayed here. We will start by defining a new API server object. Here we will type a name for the server's object. Type the demo API server's URL and select the checkbox to load the WSDL data. Next, we will select the getCompanyName method. This method returns the value of the Zaptest company name. For customization of any request attributes, Zaptest provides the API Studio module. To define a validation checkpoint for the server's response, we will navigate to the Checklist tab. Here we can type the expected value directly into the value field, or we can use a data table parameter. For a new parameter, we will type its name and Zaptest for its value. To define a validation step, we will drag the getCompanyName API object into the script view and select the Execute and Check Response by List operation. We can view or update the parameter's value directly by using the Data Table tab. Now we will save the new test and run it. Once the test is finished, we will open the results. The Execute and Check step has returned a failed status because the actual company name is different from the value that we used in the checklist. Next, we will update the company name parameter with the correct value and rerun this test. The Execute and Check Response step must return a pass status. For the next step in our test, we will use the SumAPI method. This method performs addition of two numbers and returns the result. We need to use the Request Body tab to specify the argument's values. For argument A, we will define a data table parameter int1 with the number 2 as its value. For argument B, we will define a data table parameter int2 with the number 3 as its value. From the Checklist tab, we will define a data table parameter sum with the number 5 as its value. Next, we will make a step for the method in the script view and select the Execute and Check Response by List operation. Now we will save and run the test. The test results must display a passed status for the second step. For the next step in our test, we will use the concat_array_data API method. This method returns a concatenated string of values in the argument array. We will navigate to the Request Body tab and define two array items. For the first one, we will make a new data table parameter with the name str1 with the value hello. For the second one, we need to define a name and value. We will make a new data table parameter named str2 with the value world. From the Checklist tab, we will define a data table parameter strconc with the value hello world. Next, we will make a step for the method in the script view and select the Execute and Check Response by List operation. Now we will run our test and review its results. The last step, concat_array_data, must display a passed status. In this tutorial lesson, you have learned how to use Zaptest API Studio controls, how to define request arguments using data table parameters, and how to specify expected checklist values for response validation. Thank you for using Zaptest.